Hello friends, there is going to be a big change in Indian history, we can say in Indian politics. We have been hearing a lot about this one nation one election from several years, and now cabinet approves this plan for one nation one election. If we go back in time before elections, the high level committee on one nation one election led by our former President Ram Nath Kovind submitted this report to President Draupadi Murmu on March 14th. The committee recommended simultaneous elections for Lok Sabha and state assemblies, and this to be followed by local body polls within 100 days. So this is in brief of what's going on now, and there are several issues surrounding this and also its implementation, like many amendments need to be made, and if there are some issues, like if there is some hung in house, then how to solve that issue, do they conduct re-election again for the remaining term? Everything we discussed in this video, and also what are the pros and cons of this one nation one election, and all your doubts will be resolved in this video. Please watch till the end. Before beginning this discussion, if you are new to this channel, then please like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel. So let's get into details now. So first, let's look into the history of this simultaneous elections, whether this happened in the past or is this the only first time? No, it happened in the past, and in India, simultaneous elections to the Lok Sabha were held in years of 1951, 52, 57, 62 and 67. Till then, we were having this simultaneous elections for both Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies. But thereafter, the schedule could not be maintained, because of some emergencies in some states and some various other reasons in regarding this politics. So that's why this schedule could not be maintained. So what's happening now? This Union Cabinet has cleared the proposal to hold simultaneous elections in India, and this is as per the recommendations by the high-level committee headed by former President Ram Nath Kovind. So this Kovind committee has recommended simultaneous elections, popularly referred to as one nation one election, for Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies, and this is followed by the local body polls within 100 days. Within 100 days, they should conduct the local body elections also. So this fresh elections would be held to constitute this new Lok Sabha, and during this event of hung house, like no majority or no confidence motion, then fresh elections need to be held for Lok Sabha, right? Then that new Lok Sabha elected will continue to serve for the remainder period of previous Lok Sabha. So they'll not do this for again 5 years. There will be also a implementation group that will be formed to take forward the recommendations of this COVID panel. This implementation group will take forward to all the how to do and the process that is to be done. Everything will be done by this implementation group. And our Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw said in a press meeting that this group will execute the recommendations in the report. Simultaneous polls will be implemented in 2 stages. So all this will happen. This implementation of this one nation one election will happen in 2 stages, and the first one will be the elections for Lok Sabha and assembly elections, and the second one will be for local body elections. Okay. So let's take a look at how government plans the implementation of this. Yeah, first we will be having, as we said, there will be implemented in 2 phases, right? In the first phase, the Lok Sabha and assembly elections will be conducted simultaneously, and in the second phase, after completion of this Lok Sabha and assembly elections, then within 100 days, the municipalities and local bodies elections should be done. Okay, within 100 days, the time frame is within 100 days. The local body and panchayats election should be done. And also there will be a common electoral roll for all elections, it seems. We generally have a separate electoral roll for each kind of elections. Like for Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies, the electoral roll responsibility will be with the Election Commission of India. And when it comes to local bodies like municipalities and panchayats, the electoral roll responsibility will be with the State Election Commission. So now what happens? There will be a common electoral roll for all the three elections, like Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies and local bodies. So this all will be prepared as a common electoral roll, and also there will be voter IDs will be prepared by the Election Commission of India in consultation with state election authorities. And also the initiation of detailed discussions throughout the country will be happened. The detailed discussions happens across the country regarding this poll or one nation one election and its impacts and its pros and cons. Everything will be discussed in various fora or various forums. Fine. And also the implementation group will be formed to execute the recommendations of this COVID panel. After this, once this COVID panel has been approved, and then there is a lot of procedure like amendment should be done, everything should be done. Then after that, the implementation group will take over, and it will execute all the recommendations of this COVID panel. And next, we have also that minister said that a large number of parties have supported ONOE, and the center will seek to create consensus over the next few months. Now let's look into the recommendations of the COVID panel report. It's a very long report of around 18,000 pages. So, and these are the very important filtered out recommendations of the COVID panel report. Among them, the most important one is the appointed date. Okay, according to the committee, when Parliament meets an appointed date, it should be set to notify the move. Okay, so basically why this appointed date is important is, after this appointed date, suppose take an example date of January 2025, you take it. Okay, so after this, and they also gave the subsequent general elections in 2029, right? So 2029. So in between these two dates, state elections will go to, states will go for elections, right? Suppose they may fall into elections in between these dates. Suppose a state goes into election in 2027. Okay, then the state will not rule for another 5 years, but it will rule for the remainder of the year till 2029. General elections take place. Okay, why this? This is because to get into synchronous with the general elections. Okay, for that reason, these states will have a short tenure. Okay, whatever. If it is in 2026 also, it will go up to 2029 only. If it is in 2027, it will go up to 2029 only. So this thing will happen after the appointed date. After the appointed, whichever state forms the government, that state will rule up to 2029 only, which are the party rules. Yeah. So that is the meaning of this appointed date. And yeah, in effect, state governments formed between 2024 and 2028 will have a shorter term till the 2029 Lok Sabha elections of automatic simultaneous Lok Sabha and assembly polls. This is actually a bit drawback for states and their political parties, because they will not be serving for a 5-year term here. They will be serving for the whatever remaining term there is there for them till 2029. Okay, I think based on this this date and this remaining very small tenure is there, right? This may be a backlash for this Kovind panel report in the coming days. Opposition will be protesting on this particular matter. For example, this is just an example of the explanation which I told you in the previous slide. The state which holds an election in 2025, suppose, will have a government with a 4-year term, while the one that conducts in 2027 will have a government only for 2 years till 2029. Okay, 2029 is the date, year in which this general elections happen. So every state should come to halt on this date, and every state should go to election along with the elections of Lok Sabha. So for that reason, whatever state, if it is formed in 2027, then it will rule for only 2 years. And the report also recommended that in the event of a hung house, no confidence motion, or any such event, the fresh elections may be held to form new house, be it in the Lok Sabha or state assembly. Okay, so if in between after the election, after 2029, these Lok Sabha and states, everyone will go into functioning, right? After this, if any event like no confidence motion or hung in assembly happens, then what happens, or any no majority thing happens, then they go for election. And after the election, now it is 2034, right, for 5 years. So after, suppose it happens in 2031, this no majority thing or no confidence motion, everything, if it happens in 2031. So if the new party gets elected, right, if elections happen and new party gets elected, then that will rule for only 3 years. Up to 2034 only it will rule. Okay, it will not rule for 5 years. Got it? So it's about like to conduct a synchronous elections, simultaneous elections of both Lok Sabha and Assembly polls. For that reason, all this happened. In this scenario, like in this method of conducting simultaneous elections, first hand states will get a bit of a drawback kind of a thing here. Yeah, but they'll get used to it if so this no majority thing happens, then only, right, this term will get decreased, right? So I think from now on, no confidence motion or jumping political party anti-defection, these things will be reduced. Okay, there will be more stable and more consistency in government policy. The term of the new government hence formed will also be only for the unexpired term of the preceding full term of the Lok Sabha, and the expiration of this period shall operate as a dissolution of House. Okay, everyone should get, every house, even if it's Lok Sabha, even if it's state assemblies, everything should be dissolved in 2024. What if it is if we are starting at 2029, then they get dissolved in 2029, and a new term starts from 2029 to 2034. And also minister said that a panel found widespread support for this simultaneous polls, and following which the cabinet gave unanimous nod for the proposal. He added that more than 80% of the respondents supported it, it seems, and opposition parties may face pressure from within to give support. Majority of respondents supported, right? So accordingly, minister is hoping that the opposition will also support to this initiative, or support to this one nation, one election, because majority has been supporting them. So what lies ahead? The panel recommended as many as 18 constitutional amendments, most of which will not need ratification by state assemblies. To implement this one nation, one election, there is this point of having local bodies also, right? Municipalities and panchayats election also should happen along with the Lok Sabha and state assembly. But here this local bodies like municipalities and panchayats, they also should get included in the simultaneous elections. For that reason, the ratification of states is necessary. But in the first phase of elections happen for both Lok Sabha and assemblies, okay, parliament and assembly. So for this purpose, there is no need of any state ratification here. Ratification of states is not necessary. Okay, just constitutional, special majority is enough. But for the sake of this local bodies like municipalities and panchayats, this for this to happen, the ratification of states is necessary. Okay, let's look into it. For two separate phases of ONOE, there will be two constitutional amendment acts. Okay. Next, on the first Constitutional Amendment Act, according to the panel, the first bill will insert a new article of 82A into the Constitution. This is for what? To establish the process by which country will transition into simultaneous elections. And the second constitutional bill will introduce 324A into the Constitution. It will empower the central government to make laws to ensure parallel elections to municipalities and panchayats with Lok Sabha and assembly elections. To merge this municipalities and panchayats also with the Lok Sabha and assembly elections, we have to introduce a new article called Article 324. Okay. So here ratification of states happens. After the introduction of two amendment bills, Parliament will follow the amendment procedures under Article 368. This is the article for constitutional amendment. Okay, since only Parliament is empowered to legislate election laws regarding Lok Sabha and Assembly, the first amendment bill no need any ratification from the states. But when it comes to matters of state subject like local bodies, it will require ratification by at least half the states. And finally, the President's assent and implementation. After the ratification of second bill and passing of both the houses by majorities, the bills will go to the President for assent, and once she signs the bill, they will become acts. And following this, what happens, we already discussed, right? Implementation group will execute these changes based on the provisions of these acts. Fine. And some proposed changes like electoral roll and voter ID card, these also require the ratification of states. because this electoral roll, it's a common electoral roll, right? For that purpose also, the inclusion of this local bodies and panchayats will happen. That means state election commission will be responsible, will have the responsibility. This will become under common electoral roll, right? So there also amendment need to happen. So that's why this they all come under state subjects, right? So that's why they need a ratification of at least half of the states. A new subclause to Article 325 of the Constitution will suggest that there should be a single electoral roll for all polling in a constituency. Fine. And separately, the Law Commission is also likely to come up with a report on simultaneous polls. Law Commission is also going to give a report on this simultaneous polls, one nation, one election, and Law Commission is likely to recommend holding simultaneous polls for all three types of government. It is as per the sources. It is said that this Law Commission is also going to recommend, it seems, regarding this three-tier polls. Polls for all the three tiers of the government: Lok Sabha, the assemblies, and the municipalities. So, how numbers stack up in Parliament? Can Modi government secure the necessary votes? We look at the scenario of Parliament, right, based on the NDA and India alliance is there, right? So we look at it. So Kovind panel has sought opinion of 62 political parties, and overall 47 submitted their opinion and remaining abstained. Of these 47, 32 supported it and 15 opposed it. Okay, and it is as per the report of Indian Express. So the NDA, including the TDP of Andhra Pradesh and other parties who stood as neutral, so their strength is around 293 now. Okay, it is 293. This is NDA's strength, and the Modi government will need 362 votes for 2/3 majority in the Lok Sabha. 362 they need, and if it turns out in full strength by 543, this special majority, it is two-third of the house present and voting, right? Present and voting. That's the rule, right? Present and voting. So if the 543 are present, then it should be, the number should be around 362. But there is a clear case of the government needing the support of opposition parties in this scenario. Okay, to get this bill passed, they need to get the non-NDA and opposition parties also on board to the constitutional amendment bills in Lok Sabha. And let's see and look in Rajya Sabha. In Rajya Sabha also there is this issue of support. BJP-led NDA has 115 MPs in Rajya Sabha. Okay, and the India bloc has 85 MPs. So for 2/3 majority, we need 164 MPs here in Rajya Sabha. But currently there are 164 MPs are required, and currently we have 234 overall. So we need 164, and BJP-led NDA has 115. You can see that is not going to be easy for the Modi government to pass the bill to implement this one nation, one election. Now let's look at the pros and cons of this one nation, one election bill. The supporters, obviously, the first thing which the supporters or the enhancers of this one nation, one election is saying is reduction in expenditure. Okay, we have some reports also saying that 60,000 crores have been spent on the 2019 Lok Sabha elections. Okay, around 60,000 crores have been spent. So, and also this simultaneous elections will also likely to boost the voter turnout, making it easier. No need to come twice, right, for the elections of Lok Sabha, and again for the elections of state, and again for elections of local bodies. But here in this, what happens? The fatigueness of voters will not be there here. So simultaneous elections is also likely to boost the voter count, making it easier for the electorate to cast ballot at once. Fine, and also more efficient administration. The entire state machinery focuses on free and fair electoral process, which finally impacts the everyday administration. See what happens here. Elections lead to what? Election leads to imposition of model code of conduct in that state or area, and because of this model code of conduct, the development programs or activities that that generally happen by the administration or state governments in that state would come to a standstill. Like that everything will be on halt, okay, to conduct these elections in a fair and smooth manner. There is an issue of delay of activities of government, right? And now if we take as an example, our Prime Minister Modi ji is in an election campaign in Jammu and Kashmir, okay. So, and we also have elections in Jharkhand, in Maharashtra. So we all have see these representatives, they are elected to work for us only, right? So but because of this elections in coming in between, there is there is disturbance of governance here. There is no consistency in governance here. This time is getting it can be utilized in a more productive way, right? So this is main advantage of this one nation one election and simultaneous elections to happen. If everything happens within in 1 year, or within 1 month or 2 months, then it's fair and good, right? So that the other 5 years everyone will be focused on how to grow, how to do the development process, how to make the schemes and benefits reach to the last mile, and everyone will be focused on that activities and how to improve more and more governance issues. Everything will be focused on that, right? So that is also a major positive for this one nation one election, and this is also expected to bring consistency and continuity in policies as well as programs of the government. This governance is very important, and having elections where every few months distracts the ruling party from focusing on the issues that matter by making them get into campaign mode. Okay, so next look into cons. It's easier said than done, they say, right? Easier said than done. So the major con is that how they will conduct this much big election, right? This big event needs a lot of manpower and lot of effort, a lot of funds to conduct this election. So holding one big election is way too complex in exercise and in a diverse country like ours. So this is one of the big con and drawback for this. But yeah, we have to look at the mechanism to overcome this also, and think the terms of various assemblies. This is a major problem by the state governments which will oppose, right? The national party states will say okay, but the opposition party states will oppose this because their tenure will get reduced, right? Their tenure will get reduced from 5 years to 3 years or 2 years. They have to compromise it for 2 years or 1 year or 3 year. Okay, that is also a drawback here. And also federalism under threat. How? Because Article 1 says that India, that is Bharat, shall be union of states. So regional parties would not be enabled to compete with the national parties, like in terms of spending or strategies, or okay. And also regional issues also get overshadowed here, and in our country like India, we have diverse issues in various parts of our country. So every issue can't be delved by the national party. So regional parties have their own importance. Okay, so this may be overshadowed here, this conduction of this national election and also the state elections at a time. Okay, they may be this is like saying they may have the advantage. The national parties will be having an advantage over the state parties. That's what this point is. And also it may create instability and complicating governance. That's it about this cabinet approves plan for one nation one election and Kovind panel recommendations. So that's it for this video, and for more content, like, share and subscribe to Azik Explains. See you in another video. Till then, bye bye.